Hi, I'm Ross, and I'm here with my friend James, and we are going to be talking about Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters. I had never seen Sea of Monsters, you had never seen Sea of Monsters, and it always kind of lived in this nebulous sort of Schrodinger's cat, where I'm like, it could be good, it could be bad, but I just avoided it for so long that I had no idea, and now I'm proud to say I've solved this mystery. Turns out, pretty shitty.
Am I happy that I watched it finally? No.
I think I'm glad I watched it just to, sort of cross it off the list. But was there any value in that experience? Do I feel like I learned anything or enjoyed myself? No.
Harry Johnson.
Actually, it's Percy Jackson, sir.
Whatever.
So this movie once again follows Percy Jackson as he goes on a quest to find the Golden Fleece to protect a magic tree that puts a shield around the camp. And who cares? Who gives a The main thing we talked about with the first movie was that it felt very lazy and just sort of like a cash grab. And this one felt like there was more effort on display. At least it seemed like people had a little more energy and gave a bit more of a
At least at first.
So yeah, better than the first one for sure, but still nowhere near good enough to salvage this as a real franchise.
Best TV show ever, so of course, canceled.
This feels like an incomplete story, if that makes sense. I understand the beginning, middle, and end and how things sort of go together, but that connective tissue, it just feels like they gloss over so much and truncate so much from the book and try to rearrange stuff from the future of the franchise. It's a very weird adaptation because it seems like it's simultaneously trying to be a soft reboot, a sequel, and set up for a future series of movies that we now know will never happen. But my personal theory about why this movie was made was, and this may shock you, purely financial.
What?
I know.
Logan Lerman would never do that.
No one cared if this did badly. They only cared if it would do well enough to warrant another sequel, and it didn't.
What good is a prophecy if you can't even understand it?
For a movie that is overall as okay as this is, it does fail on pretty much every level. Outwardly, there's nothing I would point to and go, yeah, this looks like a piece of shit. But just together, all of these parts just meld into this bland puddle of nothing, and they're not even that fun.
No, they're kind of boring.
They're really boring.
The second one specifically, the only thing you have to compare it to movie-wise is the first one.
The first movie is a pretty low bar to work from.
Exactly.
Better than Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief is not what the benchmark should be.
You have
A real horse's ass.
What's failing this franchise is the characters, because characterization doesn't matter to this story, to the first one. It doesn't matter at all. People are either good guys or bad guys, and they act like good guys or bad guys. That's as deep as it runs.
Yeah, the only character development in this one with Percy was, oh, I actually do love my Cyclops brother.
Yeah.
That was it.
I guess he found self-confidence, because at the beginning everyone's like, maybe you can't do another quest, Percy, and then he does and they win, and it's like, I guess you could.
What do you have against Tyson anyway?
He's a Cyclops.
Annabeth was cured of racism, and that's, I believe, the only two major character developments in this is Percy becoming more of a main character, and Annabeth is no longer racist, and she's blonde.
Yeah, I guess that counts as character development. It's pretty telling that 1/3 of your main characters gets swapped out about halfway through the movie, and there's no difference in how they act or interact or how the movie feels or how the dynamic feels. After we watched this movie and I was writing down notes about it and talking points, I realized that I'd gotten through 3 pages of notes and forgot Tyson was in the movie entirely. So that tells you how much impact that character has.
How come you aren't barbecued?
Cyclops are fireproof.
There's never really a clear indication of how Camp Half-Blood works, which I think also lets it down a bit, because, Hogwarts, you get the structure. It's a school. The kids have rules they have to follow. At Camp Half-Blood, it seems like you can kind of just do whatever you want, whenever you want, and who's going to say no because your father is god of the ocean. It's so vague, and because they don't care enough about the world around the characters to really invest time or good writing into it, it feels like the kind of adaptation where you have to know the source material pretty well, and that still doesn't help you because they change so much. So it's it's for no one. This one does feel more in line with the books as well, in terms of focusing more on the modern interpretations of mythology. Like the whole sequence with Hermes was pretty fun. I'm glad the UPS store got some promo. That was, I think, the only being or corporation to benefit from this movie in any way.
Yes, Hephaestus does do quality work. Everyone else these days hacks.
Do you remember this movie? What happened? I don't remember what happened.
There was a big battle, and then
Yes.
the tree blew up. There was
The tree didn't blow up. The tree was dying.
The tree should have blown up. And then that ox came in, and then Percy killed the ox. They were in a taxi, and then they were out of the taxi, and then they were on a boat, and then they were on an island. And Grover was in a
Gravel.
was drag racing, and then they got the fleece. They fought Kronos for some reason, and then they won, and then it's over.
Yeah, a lot of it did just go in one ear and out the other, because I know deep in my heart there is no reason to internalize this movie.
Extreme makeover alert.
Every one of these big YA adaptation franchises kind of had these defining traits. You know, Twilight had sparkly vampires, Harry Potter had the wands and stuff. These signature things that people could associate immediately with them. What do the Percy Jackson movies have besides the pen that turns into the sword, which they barely use? What about these movies is unique or special at all? See, that's a very telling answer.
I make my own destiny.
Logan Lerman gave this a decent shot, but I could see in his eyes he did not want to be there. 100% there was a conversation behind closed doors where he was like, get me out of this. Can we not? Please, God, don't make me do this again.
Logan, I'm his agent. Logan, there's this movie. I know you didn't like the first one that much. Nobody.
I'm doing Logan Lerman. That's his voice.
All right. Hey, Logan.
Yeah?
It's me, your agent.
Hello?
There's this movie coming up, man. And I know you didn't like the first one that much. You know, the Percy Jackson. And
Oh, no.
But it's kind of like my dyslexia, but instead of being able to read Greek, I can see map lines.
There's nothing to really connect to because you're just being presented with this sort of half-assed adaptation where none of the characters do anything. They just continue along until they run into whoever. Percy seems to bounce back and forth between having a great time and melancholy at the drop of a hat. Like, I don't know what Percy's deal is personally.
he's an angsty teenager still.
Yeah, Annabeth is just there. They do present the illusion of character development, but really what it comes down to is Percy is mad that something isn't happening, and then the thing happens at the end. So he wins. Luke is a terrible villain because he just looks bored, and Percy's a bad hero because he also looks bored.
What are you doing? Don't walk on my roof.
I think they may have been able to save this, but this was not the writer-director combo to do it, obviously. Mark Guggenheim, who I have grievances with for reasons. This is not the final attempt at doing Percy Jackson on the big/small screen because Disney is going to be rebooting it soon on Disney+. There's going to be a series, which should give the book story a little more time to breathe. I can't imagine it'll be any worse. Logan Lerman 100% should get a cameo.
I think it'd be fun for him to get a cameo.
Yeah, as like an older kid at the camp or something.
He's Luke.
You can make a kid-based adventure TV show work. Stuff like Stranger Things is big right now, and I think this is going to maybe lean more into that angle than the YA angle, because that whole genre is kind of dead now. I have faith that it'll be at least interesting. I'll probably give a few episodes a watch. It's also a shame that this movie franchise fizzled out after 2, because I think the third book is where it gets really interesting. There are especially a lot of really cool visual things you could do, like Atlas and the Labyrinth and the Forced book.
This might be the most fun I've ever had. Ever.
A part of me is sort of warm and nostalgic towards these movies just because I remember when I was genuinely excited for adaptations like this, and it just goes to show that you should never love anything. Everything will disappoint you in the end.
Percy Jackson and Sea of Monsters, I give it a big, fat, not that good.
Yeah, this. These movies, they suck. Don't watch them. If you want a good Percy Jackson experience, just read the books.
Or write your own fan fiction, that works too.
Yeah.
Send Ross a link to his personal email.
These movies do nothing right. And that's not hyperbole, I feel.
Finding out you have a destiny is a lot like finding out you have a half-brother who's a Cyclops.
The silver lining is that we never have to watch these movies again, you know? Curiosity has been sated. They sucked when I was a kid, and they suck now. Sometimes, kids, sometimes things don't get better. Sometimes things just stay bad. Could be your life, could be your parents, could be relationships, could be an allergy, you know? Sometimes things just don't change. What's one last thing you want to say to all the Percy Jackson fans out there?
Go yourselves.
Oh.
You pieces of
Oh my god.
You did this to me.